Most recently, we saw her in the hit Netflix series Neil Gaiman's The Sandman as Joanna Constantine. Please welcome to the stage, Jenna Coleman! Jenna Coleman!
You just locked me out my own panel.
I locked you out of your own panel.
It's such an anticlimax, I couldn't open the door.
I'm so sorry. Totally embarrassed. Thank you for coming.
I'm very, very clumsy.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. Look at all the fans here. Make some noise if you're a huge Doctor Who fan. Make some noise if you saw The Sandman recently on Netflix. Congratulations, first of all, on the hit series, The Sandman, and its continued success. We're fingers crossed for a season 2. But I just wanted to talk to you quickly first, and we'll get to some audience questions, about the transition, fandom-wise, from the Doctor Who fans to the Sandman fans. Have you noticed kind of a transition between, with the fervor of those Doctor Who fans now transitioning into comic book fans of the Sandman?
Do you know what? I wouldn't know because this is literally the first convention. But are there a lot of Sandman fans here? Because I can literally see Desire around the corner. Peeking.
Mason, come away really quick. Come on, she already called you out. Mason Alexander. Mason also here this weekend. They'll be at their booth and they'll be on stage tomorrow. Tell me about the fans so far, and again, what has this excitement of this new comic book series brought to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the first convention I've done since lockdown and since obviously like Comic-Con earlier this year. So the hour that I've had here, there seems to be a lot of people who from Doctor Who like very, very much into Sandman as well.
Had you had any prior knowledge of the comic book and sort of Neil Gaiman's ode to some of these DC characters, like yours, for instance, Joanna Constantine, obviously a descendant, and also relative to John Constantine, obviously. What was your previous knowledge to those characters?
Yeah, well, obviously I know Neil's work, and Neil, one of my first episodes that I did on Doctor Who was Neil Gaiman's episode. So obviously I have a previous relationship with him. And then this script was sent to me, but they didn't tell me what character it was. And the character was just so like brilliant and formed on the page. But I was like, who is this? Is this Death? Is this like, what is the... So I kind of went into this completely blind, and then until I had a meeting with Alan, and Alan told me what the plan was and how to have Lady Joanna Constantine and then back into the modern day Constantine too. Constantine.
It's it's a bit of a fan thing. Cheer now if it's Constantine. Cheer if you think it's Constantine. Yeah, I think it's a fan debate. It's pretty 50-50, and depending on the John Constantine character or series you've seen, because we've had Matt Ryan in a lot of shows too, it goes back and forth.
Yeah, I have seen one of the comic books where it's like, this is how you pronounce it, you know, in the actual... Yeah. Anyway.
Talk a little bit about...
I always ask this question to like everyone I meet, but how different is playing Clara from other characters that you have played before?
Actually, it is very different, and because the whole process on Doctor Who was so interesting for me because I auditioned as a Victorian governess, my initial audition was I'm kind of, I'm Mary Poppins mixed with Nancy from Oliver. And I was like, absolutely great. And the idea was that Victorian Clara was going to be the companion for the whole series. And then suddenly they brought me back with Matt, and then they were like, just play different characters. And I was like, oh, these guys, they don't know what they want. Not realizing that. I thought they were just testing to see what works with Matt. But actually they were testing because obviously Stephen, I think he wrote Asylum of the Daleks, not thinking that was going to be the companion at first, and then obviously connected them all together. But Clara, for me, became probably closer to me, which is what I usually don't do with roles. So actually, in many ways, it was the hardest because it was it was, yeah, close. Like, you know, Clara then became from Lancashire, which is near where I'm from, and it became, I feel like Stephen kind of tailored it towards me. Yeah, whereas I was like, let me play, you know, Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Where's my umbrella?
Yeah. Awesome, thank you so much. Hi.
First of all, welcome to Dallas, or welcome back.
Thanks.
Having been the impossible girl who has spent has been with every reiteration of the Doctor as story goes, but is there any Doctor or episode that wasn't, you know, yours that you would have enjoyed doing?
Oh, Vincent and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful episode and so moving. I mean, I adored Amy Pond's like story and meeting, like the kind of their meet. I found it so moving. But that episode in particular, and also, oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name, where Saran Jones plays the TARDIS.
Yeah.
TARDIS, what's the name of the episode? Doctor's Wife. The Doctor's Wife is another great episode.
Another Neil Gaiman.
Another Neil Gaiman episode. I mean, yeah, there's so many. That's what's so great about the series, isn't it? It's
Thank you.
story.
Hi, thanks for coming to Dallas. My question is, I was wondering if there was a movie, show, or play that inspired you to get into acting, and if not, if there was a role that you really wanted to play.
Oh, that's very hard. I feel like, God, when I was young, one of the first things I remember going to the cinema to see was My Girl. And I feel like that was the first, and I just remember being so like, and actually being like, oh yeah, I'm crying. How can this moving picture make me cry? So yeah, I feel like that was maybe like my first like proper cinema, I guess, experience. And then to be honest, a lot of it was like books and plays and things like that. Sorry, what was the other question?
If there was a role that you would love to play in the future.
I feel like Cleopatra would be very fun. A very deep rumbling in the audience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It seems like you enjoy, because I know this question came up earlier, the more historical periods, if you will, kind of going back in time and playing those powerful women in different ages. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, a character who complicated.
For sure.
Like, I think that's the thing, and that's the, you know, like Cleopatra is an infinite variety of,
I love that.
yeah.
It's been a while. I mean, yeah, it's time for a new movie, a new version of that, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, so I got introduced to your work through The Sandman. My husband's a big fan of the comics and then got me into the show. And I absolutely loved Constantine and how she was just it was a no-nonsense person. Like, she wasn't gonna let Drain mess with her or do whatever. And I didn't know up until the promotion for this convention that you also did Doctor Who. And so I thought, this question popped into my head and I was hoping it would be a fun one. What if your characters from The Sandman and Doctor Who switched places and played in each other's shows?
Imagine, actually, can you imagine seeing, God, I wonder which doctor should be Joanna Constantine? Like Peter Capaldi's doctor or Matt's doctor? That would be quite a fun.
Well, it has to be a holiday special where they both show up in various times. Yeah. Let's be honest. If we're gonna pull this off.
Yeah, it would be a great mix. Clara in the Sandman world, I'm not sure how that would work. However, I could definitely see Johnny Constantine in the TARDIS. I think that would be a battle of the egos.
Thank you.
You know Neil would be down. I mean, my gosh, there is that kind of lore between, the Lucifer character had been created, Constantine, you know what I mean, around. So it's a loose world of dreams where anybody could show up,
Yeah. I'm for it.
Awesome. Hey.
Hi. How much research did you do for Victoria?
So much research. There's a lot of history books about Queen Victoria, and she also, I think she wrote a lot of diaries. I did a lot, but I did it every time I took it up to the age that I was playing. So I think I played her so far up to when she was like 30-ish. So I was updating it as I was going, but kind of going no further than our timeline. But yeah, there's endless amounts of research. And also, there's a website you can go to and just Google a random date and then read her diary from that date, which is a good source if anybody is a very big Queen Victoria fan.
That's awesome. Hey.
Hi.
So I wanted to just ask, what did it feel like when you had to leave Doctor Who?
So sad. Which is why I did it so many times. The truth, and came back. The truth is, I was actually leaving, and then we went on Peter Capaldi's world tour of 7 cities in 11 days, and Peter and Stephen basically pincer attacked me, and sat me down like my fathers. I remember it was really formal. This is actually such a funny story. And Stephen and what they did, they spoke to my mum and dad. They planned it all. They were saying it's too early for her to leave Doctor Who. Peter didn't want me to go. There's too many stories left to tell. So this whole trip, it was being plotted and planned, and my mum and dad were like, darling, you can't go yet. And they got brought in on it. So then Stephen and Peter, this was 5-6 days build up to be like, right, we can get her to stay, we can get her to do another series. And anyway, they sat down and they were really formal and they were like, we think this, this and this. Anyway, Peter was giving his pitch of all the reasons why he wanted me to stay. Meanwhile, Stephen fell asleep in the chair, which ended up being the worst pitch ever, because Peter turned to him for support and he was literally fast asleep. Anyway, it worked and I'm very glad because it means that I didn't have to leave.
Yeah.
And I got to do another series with Peter and have a lot of fun, but it was very emotional when the time came.
Sure.
And Peter came in because he wasn't in shot because of the way we did the TARDIS. So Peter came in to play his real guitar, dressed in his normal clothes, so that I had an eye line. And it was actually an eye line to Peter, not the Doctor.
Who got chills? I just got chills. I don't know if you got. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So they companion you. They literally. That's how Doctor Who gets his companions to stay. You know what I mean? They talk really fast, and they're like, fine, I'll come back.
Yeah. In Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Jenna's at their table all day. Thank you so much for the Sandman, brilliant series. We love doing Doctor Who, and maybe Clara